everyone, it's Coach Rick, and today's unboxing is on Grassroots Tincture. This tincture is from the Naperville dispensary called 3C, and my patient, who I'm a caregiver for, wanted to change over their dispensary because he couldn't find the product he was looking for at his primary choice. I guess I'll talk about that too. So the idea with medical cannabis in Illinois is that if you qualify with one of the, I think it's 52 conditions, debilitating conditions, you're allowed to have a 1 to 3 year card. That's pretty cool to have a 1 to 3 year card, also known as the MCPP card. The MCPP card, if you qualify, it allows you to go to dispensary, it allows you to take advantage of lower taxes on your products that you buy, also allows you to have a wide variety of different products that might not be available to people who just go to the dispensary for recreational marijuana. So this plant is fantastic. I've done a couple of videos. I'll try to put links to the major ones down below, but anyone can walk into a recreational dispensary, but there's only a few in the area. Recreational, usually the window or the amount of different products that are available to you will be limited, but should be enough. You also potentially get the opposite of what I just mentioned. You get a higher tax, you get a lower THC, and you got to stand in line. So when you have the card or invest in the card, it allows you to take advantage of different dispensaries, allows you to not have to stand in line. The one in Naperville, you can only drive up and they come out, deliver your product, and you go, which is no touch, which is nice. It's a pickup. And with COVID and probably the winter being worse, it's really nice to have a pickup and just go, order online. So enough of that. If you're interested, see my Herbal 411 website and perhaps consider getting a card or investing in a card. It is an investment, but it will pay off because it's essentially a pharmacy that you don't need to go to your doctor for. So with regards to CBD and THC from the medical cannabis plant, this is different than CBD that you might find on the internet or on Amazon. Hemp-based CBD has a primer for folks that are entry-level here. Hemp-based CBD is a cousin to medical cannabis-based CBD. The hemp-based CBD products, I have some friends that also deal with hemp-based products, and they are good. But there's an ocean of different hemp-based CBD products. Usually tinctures. I think there's some vapes, which I heard taste terrible. But again, flavoring is okay. Just be careful about the ingredients. Topical products, essential oils. So they are there, but there's such a wide ocean. It's hard to say who's good in the ocean of hemp-based products. I will take it for granted that my friends are only buying the best, but that is a chance that you're taking. When you go through a medical cannabis dispensary in the state of Illinois and you get a CBD from medical cannabis, this has to be FDA regulated. And because government steps in, they charge more, but because government steps in, you will have to, let me refract that. I think the medical cannabis industry, if you're recreational, charges a lot. But if you're medicinal, because of the qualifying condition, I do believe I've seen head-to-head comparisons with hemp-based products, and I think the medical cannabis is cheaper or even equal to, with the advantage that because the FDA has stepped in and said, okay, you have to have a label. And when you have a label, you have to prove it. So that's the difference. I think hemp-based products, you have to have you might have a label, but the industry doesn't have to prove that the contents in the bottle are what's on the label. When the US government steps in, USDA or FDA, you have to have proof and testing, batch testing it's called. So the FDA doesn't always go into the cultivators in Central Illinois and say, okay, let me see your tests for the last 3 months. They don't always do that, but they can do that anytime they want. And if you get audited and you don't produce the batch test results, you're in trouble and you get fined huge. So that is the looming threat for people to say, okay, I have to get tested. So sometimes that testing costs money to the cultivators, and the money that they pay, or the fee that they pay for testing and proving that a certain batch is up to snuff as far as whatever is in this oil is truly in the oil because we tested it, that's a price. And sometimes the price is given or trickled down to the consumer. But I still think it's cheaper than comparative to hemp and with good quality. So to get into my unboxing, this is a dominant CBD tincture. Then the tincture is essentially an oil. So if you look at the distillation process, how do you get from the medical cannabis flower to the oil? Well, you have to take the flower just like you would with your food. So if you bake and or heat up your, say, your basic basil, that's a spice. If you heat it up enough, the essence of the flower, or the essence of the plant, the leaf in basil, will come out into the dish that you're cooking. And then it will profuse the dish, and it'll give the dish a different hint or a different accent. And that will usually, if it's done properly, make the dish pop. Sometimes the spices in Italian foods, if you just give spaghetti and tomato, it tastes like spaghetti and tomato. But if you throw in spice, oregano, a little bit of salt, pepper, a little bit of basil, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of onion, all those flavors, when you heat up the plant, it pops and gives the taste bud sensation, gives you reward. So when you heat up the flower of medical cannabis, an oil comes out, and the oil is extracted and refined and put into here. So that way you don't have to smoke, if that makes it plausible. Or if you can understand that, then you can understand if you take the oil and you put it under your tongue. So let's go ahead and open this up. You have to get used to oil. I never liked oil before, but it's a different delivery system. Holy mackerel. I'm gonna have arthritis just from opening this up. So, child-proof although. So kind of darker compared to other oils. I have these other oils over here, and then these tablets over here just in case. But so I used to take the tablets of Avexia Relief for my fibromyalgia. And I think that Avexia Relief for people that cannot tolerate oils because of sensation, this is pretty decent, but you spend more. A half a tablet twice a day, I think, is a good dosing system. And the rest of these oils, you can see the videos I've done before. So what I would do with this, because it's so concentrated, I think it's 2,000 milligrams of CBD, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I don't have my glasses, but that is the information panel that the FDA says you have to label with. So it should have, I'm getting old, I can't read this. It should have a percentage or milligram dose of THC, CBD, THCA, CBD, CBG, CBC. There's a whole bunch of different ones, but they'll put the major components in on this. And then you can make a comparison. But depending on the strength, and this is the strongest between everything, even the Mary Medicinals is the most concentrated. That's $125 though. Previously, I've done a video on that, but this is head-to-head more concentrated CBD. So we'll have to give it a try. The only problem with CBD is that it's hard to feel if your dosing is proper or not. You'll have to trust that taking a dose regularly, twice a day to 3 times a day, depending on your medical problem, will get your bloodstream full of phytocannabinoids. So that you make your own endogenous endocannabinoids, because you have an endocannabinoid system, and I have done videos on that. But if we have a need for a reset of sympathetic system, parasympathetic system, a digestive system, neurological system, emotional and psychological system, sometimes when your systems are a little bit offline, then you need a shocker to reset, a hammer to reset all your systems. And the hammer is the endocannabinoid system. And I feel that when you load up one dose twice to 3 times a day, and keep on doing that over the course of several weeks, you should notice a difference. If the systems are offline, my theory is that pushing the endocannabinoid system with a hammer should push the other systems into resetting themselves. So will you feel high? Probably not. even kids. There's so much CBD. That's the one component of the plant that the THC doesn't have any wiggle room to affect the brain. So again, the idea is the endocannabinoid system essentially boils down to stimulating CB1 receptors and CB2 receptors. The CB1 receptors are the high, the THC that you get from smoking a joint, smoking a bowl, and there's a very distinct, you feel relaxed, you feel euphoric. Some people feel paranoid, but there's a very distinct hit that you get with emotion and thinking. And so it does help with my PTSD patients. Turns off the hippocampus, turns down the amygdala. But with CBD, CBD usually will affect or hit receptors for CB2 receptors. Those are mostly on white blood cells, the immune system. So with this COVID crap coming up and influenza, it'd be nice to reset the endocannabinoid system by effectively pushing the immune system. If you can push the immune system to reset itself, you fight infection better. I think you also fight inflammation better. I think you also fight allergies better. I think you also have a better digestive system. And in a roundabout way, I think the CB2 receptors with CBD, I think they also push or can affect the neurological system. So mood, seizure. So I think there's a lot of benefits to having CBD2 stimulated by way of this CBD dominant tincture. Now, I'm probably getting a little bit too into the weeds, so to speak, but if you have the opportunity to get the card, if you have the opportunity to take advantage of CBD products, dominant products with CBD, then I think you should be able to use them properly. Again, the biggest problem is that people don't feel anything, so they're like, well, it didn't work. Well, if you are anchored or mired in deep disease and symptoms, it's going to take a while before you get out of that stuck feeling. And if there's multiple systems that are offline, I think pushing one system will help. And if you stay the path and you do the other things with lifestyle change to kind of get the other systems online too, eventually you'll just keep on pushing through and all systems will reset. It's a lot of trust in that, but I mean, what are your choices? A whole bunch of medicines, a whole bunch of procedures, and a whole bunch of side effects, which sometimes are necessary. And those are big hammers, huge hammers, which sometimes reverse disease at the cost of side effects and price, versus getting disease early, using something gentle, and just tiny hammers will help just as much as a big hammer, but they have to be used effectively over the course of time. So enough of the weeds. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of an understanding about how to use the tincture. The taste isn't that bad. I'm not going to taste it right now. I just brushed my teeth. So I think you understand how the tincture is used. Now, if you looked at the bottle, the dropper, there are no hash marks. The other droppers here, I believe there's hash marks. Let's just look at SpectraCell. This is the go-to that's affordable. And I don't know if you could see the hash marks there. Put it against my shirt. Though there are hash marks on this, those black numbers, and sometimes you can get an estimate. Now, if you don't have hash marks on this one, you'll get an estimate. I'd probably say a quarter of a dropper, 2 to 3 times a day, should be enough to load your system so that it's effective. So trust that you are going to feel good. Always add lifestyle change to this, and sometimes probiotics. If you're in the realm of ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, or diverticulitis, and you're using this to reset your immune system and your gut, I think probiotics also boost the effectiveness of CBD. So I'll probably do a video on that. But hopefully this gives you a little bit of an idea. If you have anybody else that's also on the fence about using and getting confused, if they don't get enough information from their bud tenders, please share this with them. Don't forget to subscribe if this helped, and give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, I'll see you at the next video.